In the shadowy corners of uncertainty, there are questions that have remained unanswered for centuries. Questions about faith, existence, and the divine. But what if I told you we stand on the brink of a revelation? A group of atheists, skeptics by nature, ventured into the unknown, their only tools? Logic and reason. They sought to challenge long-held beliefs and unravel timeless mysteries. What they unearthed was beyond their wildest expectations, a discovery so staggering it sent shockwaves around the globe. Now the world is left grappling with the implications. Can science and belief reconcile? Could this be the game changer we've been waiting for? Get ready to question everything you thought you knew. This is a journey into the unexpected. Prepare to be shocked. The Pool of Siloam. The Pool of Siloam, which can be found in the city of Jerusalem, is a location that holds a great deal of religious and historical value. This importance has a particularly strong resonance within the Christian faith as a result of its appearance in biblical texts, as well as the miracles that are associated with it. It is expected that the Pool of Siloam, well known as the place where Jesus is claimed to have cured a blind man, will shortly be open to the general public for the first time in almost 2,000 years. The discovery of the Siloam Pool is a pivotal occasion in the study of biblical archaeology and is significant in its own right, regardless of the pool's original function. Both Jews and Christians place a high value on the pool, which may be found in the southern section of the archaeological complex that comprises the city of David in Jerusalem. Archaeologists are actively excavating it, and after they have finished it, will either be opened to the public in sections or all at once the entire site has been uncovered. Just before the start of the new year, the Israel Antiquities Authority, the Israel National Parks Authority, and the City of David Foundation all made public their intentions to open the Pool of Siloam to visitors. Religious aspect. In the Bible, the pool is mentioned for the first time in the Old Testament, more especially in the book of Isaiah 8:6, where it is referred to as Shiloh, which is Hebrew for a well or other source of water. In Nehemiah 3:15, it is referred to as the Pool of Shelah, and it is related to the water tunnel that King Hezekiah built to provide a safe water supply for Jerusalem while it was under siege. The pool, which was an essential part of the city's infrastructure, functioned as a metaphor for life, sustenance, and the providential hand of God. The genuine theological significance of the pool is revealed in the New Testament, more specifically in the Gospel of John 9:1-7, in which Jesus is recorded as performing a miracle at the pool. The narrative describes how Jesus restored sight to a man who had been blind from birth. Jesus formed some mud with his spit, applied it to the man's eyes, and then instructed him to wash in the Pool of Siloam. The man's eyes were immediately healed. The instructions given to the man were carried out, and as a result, he regained his sight after washing. Because of this occurrence, the pool is now universally recognized as an important location in Christian history. The Pool of Siloam is more than just the site where a miracle took place. It also serves as a metaphor for spiritual illumination and comprehension. The blind man's physical sight is restored, but more crucially, his spiritual sight is opened, and he is made aware of the identity of Jesus and his mission as the Messianic Anointed One. Therefore, the occurrence that took place at the Pool of Siloam highlights one of the most important teachings in Christianity, which is that having faith in Jesus is the path that leads to spiritual enlightenment and salvation. The biblical stories were brought to life when, at the beginning of the 21st century, archaeologists rediscovered and excavated the site of the Pool of Siloam. This discovery offered concrete connections to the past and made it possible to get a more in-depth comprehension of the historical context of the place. Pilgrims from all over the world come to this location to pray and mediate on their beliefs. They also come to connect more directly with the story told in the Bible. The value of this ancient pool stretches far beyond a single miracle or its usefulness within the context of historical study. It is a concrete link between the biblical tale and the present believer, as well as a symbol of the presence and action of God, a testimonial to faith, and an example of the power of belief. Believers are reminded of the power of faith, the miracles performed by Jesus, and the possibility of personal transformation and redemption as a result of this. In Christian theology, water frequently represents the act of purification as well as rebirth. As a result, the Pool of Siloam is also symbolic of the Christian sacrament of baptism. In this sacrament, followers of Christ are cleansed of their sins and reborn into a new spiritual life. It is a compelling and approachable image of how one might be transformed as a result of their trust in Jesus Christ. It acts as a physical metaphor of spiritual purity. Within the context of Christianity, the significance of the Pool of Siloam cannot be overstated. Its long history, which is rich in biblical narratives, and the fact that it continues to be relevant as a site for pilgrimage, combines to make it an essential component in comprehending and engaging with the Christian religion, because the miracles that are linked with it highlight important Christian concepts, providing believers with both a historical and a spiritual journey. The symbol's status as an essential component of Christianity is strengthened as a result. The good news: archaeologists Ronnie Reich and Eli Shukron discovered 2 ancient stone stairs while working to repair a big water conduit that was located south of Jerusalem's Temple Mount, at the southern end of the ridge that is known as the City of David. This discovery was made while they were working on the City of David. After further investigation, it was discovered that they were formerly a part of a monumental pool that dated back to the time of the Second Temple, which is when Jesus was alive. The building that Reich and Shukron found was 225 feet long, and it had corners that were slightly more than 90 degrees, which indicated that it had a trapezoidal shape. The end that was wider was facing Tyropoeon Valley. During the time of Jesus, what role did the Pool of Siloam play in the community? Because the pool receives its water supply from the Gihon Spring, which is situated in the Kidron Valley, the naturally flowing spring water would have qualified the pool for usage as a mikveh, which is a Jewish term referred to a bath that is utilized for the purpose of performing ceremonial immersions in order to attain ritual purity. On the other hand, it's possible that people living in that portion of the city relied on it as a significant source of potable water at the time. Even a Roman-style swimming pool, according to the hypothesis of at least one academic researcher. Canaanite Tunnel: the religious aspect and importance. Jerusalem is home to an ancient canal that goes by a number of different names, including the Canaanite Tunnel, the Siloam Tunnel, and Hezekiah's Tunnel. Its importance in history and religion is tremendous, and its influence can be felt far beyond the confines of any particular religion. It can shed light on important topics such as ancient methods of water management, social organization, and engineering. In terms of history, the tunnel was first constructed during the Iron Age, maybe about the 8th century BC. Its primary function was that of an aqueduct, with the intention of carrying water from the Gihon Spring to the Pool of Siloam. The alternate name for the tunnel comes from King Hezekiah of Judah, who, according to the Old Testament, constructed the tunnel in order to protect the city's water supply during the Assyrian siege. This is where the other name comes from. Religiously speaking, the Canaanite Tunnel is significant to both Judaism and Christianity. This is due to the fact that it was built over an ancient passageway. It is connected with a pivotal period in the history of the Kingdom of Judah, and it symbolizes the efforts that were taken to safeguard the city and the people who lived there. This protective act has been construed as a display of confidence and trust in the divine providence for which it was intended. The fact that the tunnel went to the Pool of Siloam, which is mentioned in the New Testament as being the location of an important Christian miracle, further elevates the tunnel's prominence as a sacred place. But what does the Canaanite Tunnel mean for the world as a whole in terms of its significance? It gives a direct connection to our predecessors and the ways in which they lived, developed, and adapted to their environment. Its usefulness extends far beyond the religious symbolism that is associated with it. To begin, the tunnel represents a remarkable achievement in the field of ancient engineering. The length of the aqueduct, which was hewn out of a single piece of rock, is around 533 meters, and its height ranges from 1.5 to 5 meters. Given the state of technology at the time, it is remarkable that it was excavated from both ends using just hammers and chisels, and that the two teams of diggers eventually met in the middle. This is an outstanding accomplishment. It is proof of the smart planning, organization, and technical talents of ancient cultures, and it serves as a reminder of the brilliant solutions our ancestors conceived to assure their continued existence. In addition, the tunnel is of major value from a historical perspective. The completion of the tunnel is described in a Hebrew inscription that was discovered inside. This text is known as the Siloam inscription. This inscription, which can be found in the Istanbul Archaeology Museums, is one of the oldest records known to exist of its sort. It offers significant insight into the history of the time period as well as the language used during that time. The water management system that the tunnel was a part of demonstrates how ancient cultures reacted to the problems that were posed to them by the environment, as well as potential dangers from enemies. This adaptability teaches contemporary cultures, which are currently dealing with environmental change and a lack of resources, an important lesson. It highlights the necessity of continuously developing and modifying our infrastructure in order to satisfy fundamental requirements, while also preserving the safety and viability of our communities. In addition to this, the tunnel acts as a direct link to the history of the human race. It creates a sense of connectedness to past individuals and the lives they led by providing a direct link to those people and their experiences. It serves as a reminder to us that our ancestors, although they lived in a different time and society than we do today, dealt with issues that were very similar to those that we face today. These challenges included obtaining resources, safeguarding their communities, and keeping their environment habitable. It is a demonstration of the ingenuity and resiliency of the human race. In addition to the uses described above, the tunnel is also utilized for instructional purposes. Because it offers researchers in subjects such as archaeology, history, linguistics, and engineering real data to back their theoretical understandings, it is an extremely useful resource for those researchers. The Canaanite Tunnel is of significant importance to the people of the world. It is a link between the past and the present, since it is both an example of ancient engineering and a tribute to the resiliency of humans, as well as an educational resource and a symbol of common human history. It serves as a reminder of our capacity to adapt, endure, and create, and as a result, it not only offers a historical perspective, but also serves as an inspiration and a lesson for overcoming the challenges of the present and the future. And so, we are left standing on the precipice of understanding, peering into the depths of a revelation that shook the very foundations of belief. In the grand tapestry of existence, every thread counts, and every perspective matters. Atheists, believers, agnostics, and scientists, each one of us contributes to the quest for truth. But the journey is far from over. Questions still linger in the shadows. The mystery continues to unfold. What lies beyond the edge of what we know? And are we ready to face it? Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. The discovery has been made, but the exploration, the quest for understanding, that's just beginning. Be part of the conversation, part of the journey. Hit the like button if this video challenged your perspective. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss what comes next. Share this video with your family and your friends. Together, let's continue to question, to explore, and to understand.